Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet these lovely jellyfish. They're quick and easy to make and they're super cute. So we're going to need our yarn and a little bit of black yarn for the eyes, a stitch marker if you want to use one, and a yarn needle. So we're going to start by making a magic ring. Now I'm going to leave my tail long because I'm going to want to make this hanging loop from it too and use it as my stitch marker. So I'll leave a fair size tail, then make your magic ring. And our first round is going to be a round of 6 single crochets into the ring. So to single crochet, you insert your hook into the ring, yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook. So that's our first one, second one, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now we're going to pull on the tail end to close the round. So round 2 will be all increases, which means we're going to be placing 2 single crochets into each of these 6 single crochet that we made in round 1. So go under your first single crochet, again yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both, and then go back into the same space again and make another single crochet. That's our first increase. Next stitch, again 2 single crochets into that one, so that's 4, carry on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. So we had 6 single crochets in round 1, then we doubled the amount, so now we have 12 single crochets in round 2. Round 3, we're going to alternate a single crochet with an increase. So I'm going to start using my tail as my stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. I just take it and flip it over. And my first stitch going to be a single crochet into the next stitch, followed by 2 single crochets into the next one, and again just a single one and an increase. And a single and an increase. And carry on like this for the rest of this round. And the last increase. It's the end of round 3 and we have 18 single crochets now. I'm going to pull my tail out now, and I'm going to replace it again. In round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets followed by an increase. So single, single, double, single, single, double, and we'll end up with 24 stitches. So a single and another one, and now an increase. And a single, and again, and another increase. Carry on like this and I'll see you at the end of the round. So I'm at the end of round 4 and I have 24 stitches. I'm going to flip my stitch marker tail again. And now for rounds 5 and 6, we're just going to make single crochets. So still 24 stitches for the next 2 rounds. So I'm at the end of round 6 now. So I've done 2 rounds of single crochets. I'm going to flip my tail, which got stuck. And in round 7, we're going to start our decreases. So we're going to decrease down to 18 stitches, and we're going to do a single crochet, followed by a decrease, and again single, single, decrease. So we start with a single, single, and then I do an invisible decrease. I'll show you how. So I'll just go under the front loop of the next stitch and the front loop of the following stitch. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. So now we need 2 single crochets again. So 1 single, and then a decrease. So under the first loop of next stitch and the next one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So carry on like this for the rest of the round and I'll meet you at the end. So at the end of round 7, we have 18 stitches, and we're going to decrease again in the next round, and we're going to do a single crochet decrease, single crochet decrease, and drop down to 12 stitches. So single crochet, now a decrease, and single crochet and a decrease, and again, so now we're down to 12 stitches and it's starting to close in. So now we're going to make this ledge here, so we're going to need to increase again. So we're going to flip our stitch marker, and in our last round, round 9, we're going to place increases in every single stitch. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into every stitch. So carry on with your increases, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Now finished my round 9, and we're just going to finish off the round by doing an invisible finish. You can just slip stitch if you like into the next stitch, but it does leave a little bit of a bump. So what I like to do, I like to cut my yarn, pull through, and now we're going to complete the round so it's a little bit more seamless. So to do your invisible finish, you thread your yarn needle, and we're going to go not under the next stitch but under the following stitch from the front underneath this V. And then we're going to go back into our last stitch, but only under the back loop. And this will give us a lovely finish that you can't tell. And while you've got your needle threaded, we might as well weave in the end now. So just pick a few stitches and tidy up your end. Work your way down on the inside. And just make a knot after a few stitches. And another one. And cut your yarn off. So that's our main part of the jellyfish ready. Now if you don't want your hanging loop, just tidy up your other end. I do like them hanging loops, so I'm going to thread my needle again. And I'm just going to tighten this end and pass the needle through the center here and back down again. And now just leave enough of a loop, however big you want your loop to be, and go round the center here, weaving in this end. And then make a knot to secure it, and cut off your yarn. So that's our body ready. Now we're going to want to embroider our eyes. So put them wherever you want. I normally put them across my row 6. I think that looks the best. So I'm going to grab my black yarn, thread my needle again, and I'm just going to go over, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just stick your needle in on the bottom of the row, then go over the top of the row. That's our first eye. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and about 8 stitches across. Do the same thing again, but like I said, you can place them wherever you like. And top of the row, there we are. That's cute. Turn your jellyfish inside out and just weave in the end again. Make a knot. So that's our eyes and hanging loop ready. And now we're going to make the tentacles and the arms. These are actually called arms, oral arms, and these little ones are tentacles. So how I make mine, again, you can make them as long or as short as you like. I think for this size, I made a foundation chain of 26. So this is what I'm going to do again. Make a slip knot and chain 26. So I have my chain of 26, and now we're just going to work back along the chain. So to make these twirl, we need to do some increases, but if you do increases in every single chain, it'll be really twirly and really tight. So I want the twirl to be a little bit loose, so I'm going to alternate a single crochet with the single crochet increase, and that seems to make this twirl a little bit more loose. So we're going to start by making a slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, followed by a single crochet into the next stitch, and now an increase into the next stitch. So 2 single crochets, and just alternate a single crochet with an increase. And it's starting to twirl a little bit already. So single crochet and an increase in the next stitch. And an increase, and carry on like this for the length of your chain. I'll see you at the end. So I only have 2 stitches left, and I'm finishing on a single crochet, and then the last one I'm going to do a slip stitch again. So this has got a lovely twirl to it now. And now at the same time I'm going to leave a long tail that will form the other tentacle here. So leave yourself however long you want your tentacle to be. Cut your yarn and pull through. So if we stretch it out a little bit, I think I want my tentacle to be about this long. And we're going to leave this end for sewing inside this body. So you want to make 3 tentacles like this. So make your 2 further tentacles and I'll see you in a little while. So I now have my 3 tentacles, and all you're going to do is take your body and either turn it inside out or just poke it through. And what you want to do is just grab your tentacles, thread your needle, probably this end, and you're just going to want to stitch it to the center of your head here. So attach it like that. Leave this second end dangling. Do a couple of stitches and make a knot. And cut off the other end. So you'll do this with all 3 tentacles. Unless you want more, you can make more. So I'm going to attach my other 2 and I'll see you when I'm finished. I've attached all my tentacles. So I'm going to turn my jellyfish the right way round again. And now I'm going to just decide how long I want these hanging tentacles to be. Decide on your length and cut off the ends. And there is our finished jellyfish. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you in the next video.